For me, I consider myself like a beginner collector of Kenner Star Wars, and this is just a great resource for me.
I am your father.
Hey everybody, it's David from Red Wagon Dioramas, and here is my page turn review of Volume 1 of the amazing Star Wars toy guide, Kenner Action Figures by ReadFive Books. This thing is amazing. It is a massive, huge book. I don't know how much this thing weighs, 10 pounds roughly, 534 pages, 6,000 color images. Pre-orders for the second print run of this book close May 12th, 2023. So I'm pushing out this video before then. Hopefully you guys get a look and it sells you on it, because I think it's well worth it. You're going to have to drop about $200, you know, US dollars on it to get it, but amazing. So check this out. I'm going to do a full page turn with you guys, show you what's in here, and I think by the end of it, you'll be signing up for that pre-order. If you're new to the channel, guys, I appreciate if you hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. All right, let's get into it. This is Volume 1 of the Star Wars Toy Guide, Kenner Action Figures, 1977 to 1985. You get the first 12 there on the cover, by Gianni Venturini and Gregory Armstrong. This was a Kickstarter campaign back in 2022. I missed out on that, but I was able to get on the waiting list for extra copies of the book. So I was actually one of the last ones, I think, to get it here in the States for the first publishing run. I received mine, I think, sometime in March 2023. Guys, this is just an amazing, amazing work of art, this book. Incredible reference resource if you're interested in the original Kenner Star Wars figures. I learned a lot just flipping through the book, just even in the intro pages here, all the history of the figures and everything. There's so much I don't know about Kenner Star Wars that I realized by going through this book. It's amazing. I'm going to flip through it. I'm going to give you guys kind of a review of what's inside this book and encourage you, if you are a collector of Kenner Star Wars, to jump in right now and place your pre-order for the second printing of this book. The pre-order window is open until May 12th, 2023. It's only, I guess that's like 2 weeks from now. So you have a short window of time if you want to get one of these. Get on the list, because I know it's going to sell out. You can find the website at readfive.co.uk, and they have info on the book there, and that's where you can make your pre-order. It says on the website 500 plus pages. It's actually 534 pages to the end of the index in my copy. It says 6,000 images. I mean, these guys, I know one of the guys has a graphic design background, so they put a lot of time and effort into sourcing the images from other collectors, and I assume from their own collections, but then, you know, standardizing all the images. So it just, the presentation is great on the book. It's just visually very easy to flip through. You've got a lot of color coding going on, describing the different waves of figures, the different movies that they're from. Green for Return of the Jedi, for example. Visually pleasing, I think, is the key thing here as you flip through it. Let's spend a little time on the table of contents here. You've got introductions from the authors. You've got a brief history of Kenner. That's like 2 pages long. Here's the authors, Gianni and Greg. Shows their favorite childhood figure in R5. That's great. Bespin Han Solo. They've got custom figures of themselves made by somebody. It's pretty fun reading that. And then just a 2-page, you know, breakdown on Kenner as a company, and kind of how the Star Wars line was developed, what came before, what came after. Really nice little write-up here. And then you get into the first Star Wars figures, and then how, of course, the figures weren't ready when the first film came out, so they did the early bird certificate. So you've got a lot of information on here. You've got you know, images of the actual packaging, plus all the little text blurbs blown up so you can read it better and see what was, you know, what was said on the packaging. Like, I've never seen an early bird certificate in person, or any of this stuff in person, so this was fun for me to read, just to see, you know, what Kenner was saying to the collectors at the time. All right, the next section of the book is card fronts, and you've got, yeah, waves A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and then non-US card fronts. So this is, I don't know, what is this, 20-some pages, just showing the different types of card fronts. Like down here, it shows all the, you know, how the figures sometimes were packaged with the little V folds of, you know, inserts to keep the figures in the bubble better, and, you know, keep the legs separate. You know, I read through this. I was learning a lot. There was a lot here I didn't know, you know, and even just down to the 3 factories that Kenner used. and how you can identify those on the card backs, which factory, which figure came from. Here's a look at the card front sequences for Wave A. This is the first 12 figures. They were obviously re-released over and over and over again. Talk about re-releases. We get mad at Hasbro these days, but Kenner did it all the time. Every figure was released many, many times. You got Star Wars figures, you got Empire Strikes Back, you got Jedi. Really fun just to look through this. And if you're a mint on card collector, I imagine this is a great resource for you, just to be able to kind of source what you have from where. I only have, 3 figures mint on card right now. So I am not a hardcore Kenner collector like some of you guys out there who are buying this book. For me, I consider myself like a beginner collector of Kenner Star Wars. And this is just a great resource for me. Yeah, and I love this page. This is page 39. Shows all 96 figures from, Farm Boy Luke down to the Imperial Dignitary. But all 96 here on the original card backs that they came out with. That's a real neat graphic that they put together here. All right, so then they have a whole section of the book that's just on the offers that were on the card fronts. So all this different types of stickers, and the free Boba Fett and offer extended, and free Bosk. All these different types of promotional offers that were on the fronts of the cards. Those are all covered in this section of the book. Then on page 47, we're into the card backs. I'd say this is probably, this is one of the more interesting parts of the book for me, because I had no idea there were so many variations of the card backs. I see it in the groups, the collecting groups, the ICC and all that. Everybody's, referencing different card backs. And I understand that the images changed as the line was developed and expanded. But I didn't realize just how many different types of promotional offers were on the backs of these cards, combined with the different iterations of the figure assortments. It just creates a huge matrix of different options of card backs that were released, which is really interesting. So if you're a card back collector or mint on card collector, I could see how you could spend years and years, tracking down all the different versions of card backs. They present these nice little flow charts, basically saying if you started here and you went to a card back, option 1 versus option 2, and it kind of turns into like a family tree of what came next. So they cover different scenarios of what might have been produced, but there's no evidence that anyone actually, has any of these card backs, so that's why they're grayed out. So it kind of tells you, like, in the line for Boba Fett, for example, these are all the different card backs that exist, that are known to exist, but they also give room for possibly, someone discovers a case that was never, sold, it's been sitting in storage for 40 years. Maybe there's some different variation of card back that hasn't been discovered yet. So just, again, pages and pages of different card back variations. Lots of info here on Bosk. Here's Bosk, the mail away Bosk. Here's the survival kit promo. So here we're into 32 backs, 41 backs. That, of course, refers to the number of figures that were on the back of the card. Now, see, this is my time as a kid. I did the mail away for the Emperor, and I did the mail away for Anakin, and I still have those 2 figures. And I remember being so excited as a kid because I saved my proofs of purchases or whatever and mailed them over to Kenner, and I got my figures in the mail. And that was a lot of fun as a kid. I mean, I must have been 6 or 7 years old then, something like that. Okay, and now we're on page 79. We're getting to the actual action figures themselves. This is where it gets really fun because you get a breakdown on the figures and the accessories, whether they had soft goods, whether they had a coin, the cape. You got nice images taken of the figure from all 4 sides, and basically a summary of all the different card backs that it came out with. So you got Farm Boy Luke here. You got some nice images of the figure, the first original card back that he came out on, a comparison of the double telescoping saber versus the regular saber, the comparisons on the 3 different types of hair, and then the different card backs he came out. And then this page here, again, the grayed out card backs are ones that are not known to exist but might have been produced. So we just don't know yet, but they keep them in the book just so people have reference to them. What, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 different versions of Farm Boy Luke. Crazy. Here's Princess Leia. Great figure. Love this. There's R2. So you're basically going through the first 12 here. Chewie, 3PO, Vader. Oh yeah, and some plates of the book have these basically fold-out parts, which is kind of fun. Got an extra flap of a page. That's really cool. Stormtrooper. Here's old Ben Kenobi. 2 different versions, you know, of his head. So I'll flip through this somewhat quickly here, just giving you guys kind of a page-turn look here. You know, the vinyl Cape Jawa, right? Tusken Raider, the Sand People. It's one of my favorite figures. Just so you guys kind of get a sense of what's in the book. I'm really making this video because I think it's an amazing book, and I want to encourage people that are collecting Kenner Star Wars to, you know, put the money down for this thing and get a copy now, because, again, the pre-order window is going to sell out May 12th. And if you don't make it this time, they said they're going to move on to Volume 2, which is going to be vehicles and playsets. I can't wait for Volume 2, honestly. So this is your basically opportunity right now to get in on this book now while it's available for the second run. And the price on their website says 150 pounds, British pounds, which I think right now with the exchange rate to US dollars is around $190. And then shipping is only like 17 bucks because it looks like they're actually making the second run in the States. So you're like $210, or, you know, then plus tax to get the book, which, you know, it's an expensive book, sure. But I'm just telling you, and you can see it from, you know, me flipping through here. I think it's worth every penny, honestly. I just want to congratulate the authors again for doing a great job on this. Here's this little certificate card that came in the book. We do care. They give you some recommendations as far as laying the book flat on the table, like don't hold on your lap. It's so heavy. There's so much weight to the paper here in the binding that the binding can get damaged if you don't handle the book really carefully. So they give you some recommendations there. I appreciated that. So we're still flipping through figures here, you know. There's Yoda. We're into Empire Strikes Back now. There's Bespin Han. Lobot. Rebels. AT-AT Driver. Imperial Commander. 21B. R2 with that famous sensor scope card back. That's awesome image there. So I'm on page 179 here, and I'm still flipping through. You know, you basically have a 2-page spread for each figure of the 96. And again, I love all the color coding here. You know, the main colors are by film. So, you know, blue is Star Wars, red is Empire Strikes Back, green is Jedi, and then you've got orange, Power of the Force. The whole book is well organized as far as, you know, graphically laid out. Yeah, one of the carded figures I just got is this Jedi Luke. So I just picked up, this is a mint on card Jedi Luke that I got in the ICCC Facebook group. Which is, for me, I mean, I only have 3 carded figures in my collection. Everything else is loose. So this was a big pickup for me. But here I can look and see, you know, find the card back basically in the book. And this is the, you know, the clean front. So it's one of these, it's basically one of these two, right? Because there's no promotional offer on the front. And on the back, it's got the 65 back with the 3PO. And then, yeah, and then this information here basically helps you find the specific card back you're looking for. So I would go over here to, where's the 65 back? Page 72. So page 72 should have an image of this card back. So I'll flip back to page 72. Here we go. And there it is. So there's my card back. So it says this was design 7 for Return of the Jedi. And they describe basically who's on the card back as far as figures, and included the Y-Wing, the 3PO case, and the bandolier strap. Proof of purchase was changed back to blue. Okay, so there was a blue version and a green version. So this is my card back right here. I have the green. I've got the green proof of purchase, the 65 back with Jedi Luke. So that's just, I don't know, it's impressive. It's a real impressive resource they put together here. All right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here, flip through the rest of the Jedi figures. Another one of my favorites. And pretty soon we're gonna get into the last 17. There's Wicket. Tebow, and here we go. All right, there's Luma, Paplu, and there you go. So now we're into the last 17, the Power of the Force line. This Luke has another fold out. This was helpful to me the other day because I had an extra belt laying around and I didn't know if it belonged to my childhood Endor Luke or Leia. And, you know, they pointed out that it's got the 3 tabs on the belt for Luke, and whereas Leia's only has the 2. So that was in here to help me, you know, figure out which belt belonged to who. And turned out it was Luke's belt, so that was psyched. So now all I need is the poncho, because I lost that as a kid. And then I need to get another blaster to complete that figure. Pop-up R2, would love to get that someday, but that's a pretty pricey figure. All these guys are super expensive here in the last 17. Anyway, so we're basically at the end of this section, and the next section, you know, it should end with Yak Face, right? So there's the dignitary, yeah, and there's a page on Yak Face. And here's their image again, all 96 loose. Now they don't have any of the accessories in these images, so I'm not sure, that's a little unusual, but there you go. Nice clean shot of all 96 figures. All right, then we get into variations. This is page 261 of the book. Variations on Chewbacca's eyes. Piercing blue versus darker blue. Variations on the bowcaster. You know, translucent blue, green, blue. Understanding the COO stamp, the country of origin. I didn't even know what COO meant before reading this book. It helps you identify exactly, you know, which factory your particular figure came from. So much information in here. I didn't get to spend much time in this part of the book yet, but this is where I'm probably going to do a lot of reading just to... I feel like there is a ton of education here for me to learn about my figures, and I plan to spend a good amount of time in the book right in this area here. I mean, look at just even comparisons of Luke's chin, regular chin versus prominent chin. You know, obviously we've heard of the brown-haired Luke versus the yellow hair, but all these different variations on the leg color. This is where I know the the guys have been collecting this for 40 years. You guys know so much about all this. But for me, who's a novice collector, this is a great resource. All the different types of Jawa blasters, you know, obviously the vinyl cape versus the cloth cape. Got blue snaggletooth in here. Even got some variation on the eyes for Hammerhead. I didn't realize that. I thought all the eyes looked sideways. I didn't know there was a more straight version of Hammerhead. One of my favorite Kenner figures is probably this X-Wing Luke from my childhood. So, for me, this is the most valuable part of the book because I mostly do loose figures, and I would like to have a complete run of the figures at some point. And look at all the different Yoda accessories and variations. So, I will be referring back to this book a lot as I continue to collect my loose figures. I won't be doing much mint on card stuff just because it's too expensive. Here's Luke again. Different types of capes, obviously. Like, look at the different versions of Scout Trooper. I notice I have like 6 Scout Troopers, and yeah, they all look different. So I got to figure out what I have of what. But you've got Hong Kong version 1 versus Hong Kong version 2, Taiwan, Mexico. Just slight different variations in the molding and the production runs. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of work that went into putting this book together. All right, here's the last 17. This was interesting to me because it was such a smaller product run. There really aren't variations on the last 17. All right, here's a bunch on identifying your saber. This would help you obviously determining authentic accessories versus repro. All the different versions of the blasters, the bowcasters. I would guess that it's this section of the book that's going to get worn out by me flipping through it over and over again. Yeah. Here's the part with Leia's belt where it said, although very similar in look to the belt on the Luke version, Leia's belt is smaller in length and only has 2 notches on the fastening. So just with that info, I was able to figure out that it was Luke's belt that I had, which was great. All right, I know this has been going on for a while, guys. I am going to wrap it up here soon. The back half of the book is all about multi-packs, 2-packs, 3-packs, 6-packs, and then the Snootles and the Rebo band. Honestly, I don't remember these as a kid of buying, 2 packs of figures. I guess, and what I read in the book here is that, they were just trying to clear out stock, so they were opening up, single figures, package them as doubles. This was when the sales were starting to decline for the line. So they did these 2-packs and 3-packs. I mean, look at all the different combinations of where, figures that you've got basically a matrix here of all, 77 figures here and 77 here and all the different combinations that were produced. It's incredible. Then you have 3-packs. Again, I vaguely had recollection of these, existing, but it wasn't something I ever purchased, and I don't remember seeing them in the stores. I was probably back onto G.I. Joe by that time. But for those of you who collect these multi-packs, I imagine this part of the book is a lot of fun for you. Now here is, obviously Max Rebo, Snootles, Droopy McCool. Yeah, so here is one of my few mint on card Kenner items. And I picked this up on eBay, I think about 1.5 years ago. But again, reading through this, I learned a lot about this, and just fun, black flute versus silver flute, right? How were they packaged? Then you've got a whole section on baggies and mail order. So all the different types of promo, all the different types of promo packaging that were produced, and Kenner would send you a free figure if you bought enough, proofs of purchases of other figures. Some nice images of the different packaging, the figures, what they look like in the baggies. Again, for me, the only ones I remember getting in the bag were for the Emperor and then Force Ghost Anakin. Then you got to look at all the catalogs. This is pretty cool. This is one of my childhood catalogs right here. So here's the Jedi collection. This one is well worn. Been with me for 40 years. But this is fun, seeing all the different catalogs that they have here. And then this is really interesting. I didn't expect this in the book, but they actually have excerpts from the different retailer catalogs. From 1978, Alden's Christmas catalog. JCPenney, Christmas 1978. Now, as a kid, I was born in 78, so I remember seeing the Sears catalog and the JCPenney catalog probably when I was old enough to look at them. Maybe I was like 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would have been like 83 to 85 during those years. And that's how we would shop for Christmas stuff. We would look at the catalogs, and I would circle the different items in there for my folks, and they would send away to Sears or JCPenney and have them, they would have them mailed up here. And yeah, this is great. I used to love just looking at all the imagery in the catalogs. I'm sure if you're like me and you grew up in that age, you have fond memories of those as well. Sears Wish Book. I mean, there's actually quite a bit of the book dedicated to these catalogs. Here now we're getting to Jedi in 1983. Sears Wish Book. Like, yeah, some of these exclusive Sears sets. I didn't even know about these until just recently when I started collecting again. JCPenney 1984. dungeon set. All right, then we're on page 437 of the book. We're on coins. Coins, something I know zero about. They credited a couple guys in the beginning of the book as far as, specifically who helped with the coin section. It seems to be its own kind of like subline of, collectors who are, really knowledgeable on the coins. But, certain figures came with collectible coins. And if you're into that, you can learn everything you need to know, I think, right here in this book. I mean, look at that. All 63 coins. Pretty neat. All right, then a little bit of the section of the book is on proof cards. These were images of, basically the cards before they went into production. Some that were unreleased. All right, then the last, we're towards the end. We're at the Droids and Ewoks line. So for me, I have zero interest in Droids and Ewoks. I remember seeing the cartoons, like, back in the 80s, but I wasn't really into it at that time. I think I had moved on to G.I. Joe. So I don't really have, I don't have any nostalgia towards, this time period of Star Wars. But some of you do, and these figures I know are rare and hard to get and sell for $20,000 or whatever it is. Like, I know some of these guys are incredibly rare. So I think it's neat that they included these in the book. It seems appropriate for those of you who are into the Droids figures. Ewoks. What's next? All right, and then I forgot the section of the book on the 12-inch figures. I appreciate this. Again, I didn't have any of these figures, and I don't collect these, but it is interesting to look at all the packaging and the imaging, the images, and all the different accessories. I think that's cool with R2-D2 with the plans. Yeah, there's the classic Boba Fett figure. Good look at all his accessories that he comes with. And here we are towards the end of the book, Volume 2 preview. Right here, guys. This is what I'm looking forward to. It says, Volume 2 will see us feature vehicles and playsets from the X-Wing fighter to the Jabba the Hutt dungeon action playset, from mini rigs to space stations. We plan to explore these items in as much detail as we have, the figures and feature elements like variations, mail orders, and special offers, etc. And then they give an example of, kind of their breakdown of the Death Star playset. So I can't wait for Volume 2 to come out. As I was reading the book, I was like, man, I hope they do vehicles and playsets. And then, right here at the end, they said, yep, it's coming. So here you got the end of the book, the epilogue. Here they give their shout outs and thank yous to some of the Kickstarter supporters and some of the YouTube channels and blogs and everything that helped promote the book. And this is an interesting breakdown here, internationally. So you had 472 backers in the United States, 31 in Canada, 47 in Australia, and 53 in Germany, 9 in Sweden, 18 in Spain, 14 in France, 231 in the UK, and 15 in the Netherlands. That gives you kind of a geographical breakdown there. I wonder how many of these books they actually produced during this first run. Here's all the Kickstarter names. It's pretty cool. Then you've got bibliography, quick reference guide, COOs, country of origin, DT, double telescoping lightsaber, and then page numbers where you can find references to these items. Again, very helpful when you have a book like this to have a good index. I find that very, very important. And they seem to have done a really good job with that here. The index is very extensive and easy to use. And the final page, see you soon. All right, Salacious. And that is the end of the book. I understand there's some variations in the dust jackets based on the Kickstarter level. I understand there's like a gold and a silver as well as the blue. But there you go, guys. That's my review, my page turn review of Volume 1. I encourage you guys to get on the pre-order for the second printing of this Volume 1, which again is, the pre-order window closes May 12th. So go to their website again, readfive.co.uk, and you can put your order in there. Cost for in the United States is going to be around I don't know, $220 something like that plus tax. Again, I know that's expensive, but you guys have seen what's in here. I think it's well worth it. I'm very happy to own this book. And again, I give my congratulations to the authors and everyone who contributed. Thank you for putting this resource together. I'm looking forward to learning a lot about what I don't know about the Kenner Star Wars line. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.